Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. You are first stop for all things Inter Miami. My name's Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave and Chris. And we are coming to you live just minutes after Inter Miami won their first ever playoff match, scored their first ever couple playoff goals, and we take a 1-0 lead in the best of three in the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs on the Eastern Conference side. So, we're going to break down all the action. Before we start, a huge shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Matias, Chao, and Marivi. Thank you so much for the generous support. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you'll find a link in the description wherever you are listening. You'll also find a link to the merch store where you can find cool stuff like this, and a link to our Discord server where we, during the matches, chat, talk, and all throughout the week. So if you're interested in that, check out the links in the description. And if you guys are watching on YouTube or on X, please hit the like or repost or subscribe buttons or all of the above. It helps the show out tremendously, and it costs you absolutely nothing. So with all that being said, Inter Miami win 2-1. Brad Guzan went Super Saiyan, power level over 9,000, and saved this match from being 5-1,
20-1.
But we come out victorious. The mood is like completely dampened and flattened by the Ian Frey going down towards the very end of the match with a non-contact injury. Really devastating. He was in tears as soon as it happened. So our thoughts are with him and his health. But that was really tough to see, and that felt like a weird alternate ending to this match that otherwise was stressful at times, had its highs, definitely had its lows. But we'll get into all of that. How are you guys doing after this match?
It's tough. It's tough to feel super excited because of that injury. I feel like it's been the one calling card all season that we've been banging the table for is more Ian Frey, more Ian Frey. Why isn't Frey starting over Cello? Why isn't Frey starting over Toto? And now that's been robbed from us, and it's more importantly, it's been robbed from him. He's worked so hard to come back from 3 prior ACL tears. So this looks, none of us can say with any kind of confidence, but it looks like another ACL injury. So that's devastating. Coming back from 4 ACL, coming back from 3 is already one thing, but coming back from 4 is unheard of. So let's pray and hope that he can come back, because he was so bright and so gifted and really fun to watch. And then as far as the match goes, 2-1, but this could have easily been 5-6-1. Really unlucky with some bounces off the post and some outrageous play by Guzan. I mean, I've never hated a goalkeeper as much as I had Guzan in this MLS run. So props to him for playing fantastic. And yeah, while we don't love a 2-1 win where we could have won by so much more, one thing that they kept saying on the broadcast is this is not an aggregate issue. So just winning by 1 goal doesn't matter. What mattered most is just getting that first win, and we'll go on into the second match and figure out what we do with our defensive play, because they're gonna have to clean some stuff up, because this game was far from perfect, obviously. But obviously you feel good about coming away with a win.
Yep. Just to answer, Syed just asked a little while ago, are we satisfied to win this way at home? Look, at the end of the day, like David said, a win's a win. There's no aggregate here. A win's a win. Am I satisfied winning at home? Yes, I am. Look at the last 2 matches against Atlanta. They beat us, man. This is apparently they're our boogeyman. Guzan is Messi's boogeyman after tonight. I mean, Messi was furious. Had to have been just that last play alone. I think it was his last play that he touched the ball. That he just took it full speed ahead. Someone said it in our Discord that it looked like he was going for the World Cup win with the sprint that he did. And then he didn't pass it off to Suarez. He just kept trying to go after the goal. He just needed that goal, and Guzan just kept taking it from him. I don't know how many times he blocked the Messi shot today, but I'm satisfied with him, man. A win's a win. We're in the playoffs. We'll take it whichever way it comes. So I'm happy. I'm happy we won. It sucks so much about Frey, man. We were so excited about him, and he did so well this season. Just to see him go down like that, it takes all the air out of this win. Really, you come out of this winner like I didn't feel so excited, and it's because of that. It's really because of that. Overall, it was a good game, man. We had so many chances, like we keep saying, or like I keep saying, Guzan stole it from us. This could have been a 5-6 to 1 game at the end of the day. I think our defense played okay. Besides the one goal allowed was all on Toto, in my opinion. Um, Drake wasn't really challenged tonight. I don't think. I think we probably had a couple shots on target, not that many. So it wasn't really challenged tonight. But overall, I think it was solid. I think we finish off more of these shots and more of these runs in the next game. I think we got a good feel for it. So yeah, forward. Also, Gomez is a stud. Gomez, his connection with Messi and Suarez up front is so nice to see, and I hate to see him leave after these playoffs are over. But he was great tonight, I thought.
Yeah, I agree with everything. Gomez that's like a good lead in perfectly for the first goal that Miami scored, which came super early. It was so great to not concede in the first 5 minutes, and instead we scored in the second minute. But it really all stemmed from Gomez's play. He sort of overran something. I can't recall if he lost the ball or something, but Atlanta got the ball. He immediately pressed back, won the ball back, passed it out to Alba, who played it back into him, cutting into the box, and he just laid it off for Suarez, who netted it. And it was like just his energy, his awareness, his just belief of winning the ball back. It immediately led to a goal scoring opportunity, and it fell to Suarez, who is like red hot right now. I mean, other than Messi, probably no one else in the league outside of like maybe Christian Benteke that you'd want to have the ball at his feet in that position, but he slotted it home, and it was like I fully expected us to concede first tonight. I had many bets out saying that Inter Miami were gonna either concede first or also that they were gonna win from behind at any point, but it was so good to be on the front foot and actually capitalize early, because so often in the last month, really, Inter Miami has conceded early, and it's been something that we've said is not a strategy that's going to work in the playoffs. So, especially against a what I would consider on paper an inferior opponent, we need to sort of express ourselves in that way. We need to impose our will on our opponents like that from the get go, and then Atlanta has to chase, and Atlanta had to deal with injuries in this match. It was their third match in 6 days, so a lot of physical demands because of that. So Inter Miami had every right by half, or really before Atlanta equalized, to be up 3-0. But Brad Guzan had some great saves. David Martinez was really unlucky on a corner that the ball went off the post. It was like a glancing header, but the ball went off the post. So many opportunities. And then just like one of those, of course we conceded moments where we were dominating for 35 minutes. And then Sabolo Janice, who has had our number all season, gets him behind Toto on an awful defensive play by him. And I'll let Dave comment on whether Drake should have done better or not, but Drake was just on an island, and I think a good shot, beat Drake. It's almost like a penalty where you sort of have to guess, and he guessed wrong or didn't place his hands correctly. I don't know, but Love Janita scores, and then we go into halftime tied.
Just feels like Drake's. I don't know what. I feel like he doesn't have many opportunities to prove himself. And then the few times that he does, he doesn't prove himself. Like look at Guzan, how many saves he made where he was alone on an island, where it was the last man standing, and he just does just a quick reaction just to deflect the ball a little bit. And time again, we're not seeing that from Drake, especially lately. It's just that was a good shot. I'm not gonna take it away from Sawa. That was a really nice shot, good placed ball, but you would like to see something more from Drake, especially when he's not being challenged and he's had such a poor run lately. And again, Toto left him out to dry. I'm not gonna not blame Toto on this,
He was in
but
La La Land out there.
I'm not gonna take all the blame off of Drake either. I mean, especially when you watch the opposite goalkeeper play with his head on fire, and then you turn around and you see 4 shots on goal and one gets by him, and it's like, man, it's if we just get a little bit more from Drake, we'd be so much like Leagues Cup Drake stops that without a problem. And that's a big reason why we won Leagues Cup is because he Drake played very, very well. We haven't gotten any semblance of Leagues Cup Drake at all this season, and it's shown. And we've been fortunate enough because in Leagues Cup it was just Messi, Alba, Busquets, but this time around we have a much better form Gomez. We have Suarez, so we've been able to really counteract the lack of scoring that we might have had before. And yeah, Drake needs to figure it out. Ustari wasn't available today, but I really, really, really liked what I saw from him. I granted limited playing time, just one match, but look at Guzan, 40 years old and still being able to do well. So Ustari being a little older might not be an issue. I think that I know it's late in the season. Tata's not going to move off of Drake, but if I were him, I would think about it long and hard.
I hate the comparison about wanting him to look like Gusan did tonight. I mean, I haven't watched every
That's not
MLS
what I
match.
said.
I
I
haven't
said
watched them.
when you look at
I ha-
Guzan and you're like, man, look at him playing crazy. Why can't Drake just play a little bit better?
Yeah, you're comparing it to him. That's what I said. I didn't watch him every MLS match this season. That must have been one of the best goalkeeping matches or performances all season. I mean, it was incredible.
by any
It
keeper,
was
I will say.
incredible. Incredible.
He had 9 saves tonight.
Yeah, so I don't want to compare him to Gusan. That's just an outlier. I want to say the best performance in the season. I mean, whatever. Yeah, you could nitpick that he should have taken a little better angle, whatever. But he was left out to dry at the end of the day. I can't blame Drake on that. I'm blaming 100% on Toto there. That was horrible defense by him. And he played, honestly, Toto played like crap all night. I think he had like one good play. Speaking of defenders, Martinez played amazing. Martinez was playing out of his mind. Like we've said all the time, he was passing it beautifully. He was actually playing far up often. So it's interesting to see Tata trust him all the way up there with the ball. So passing great. His defending was amazing. He stopped this one-on-one on the right side just by himself. Cut up to the guy, played defense well, took the ball away and turned it over. And that's what we want to see from our defenders, not what Toto did, leaving Drake out to dry like that.
Yeah, and I think for Martinez specifically, I think it's a great, and this is a byproduct of us being the number 1 seed, but this is a great round to get into form. You get potentially 3 matches, hopefully only 2 matches against Atlanta, but you get the opportunity to work your way into form. And tonight was a much better outing by David Martinez than we saw against New England, which is a markedly worse team than Atlanta. So it was good to see him get back into a little bit of the swing of things. And I totally agree. I think he had a really nice game. Definitely for me was a little nerve-wracking seeing how far advanced not just Martinez, but Toto was playing. And at times we really were playing like a 2-3-3-2
yeah,
with 2 defenders back. But Atlanta, they couldn't counter us quick enough to take advantage of it really. And that's something that is going to work now while we're playing Atlanta, but moving forward, obviously the tactics should change and accommodate whoever we're playing. But I did kind of like some of these shots that Martinez was sort of pinging from distance. That's something that we like when Matias Rojas does that, because he's one of the very few that actually does it and he puts it on target. Not like Cello, who will, I'm sure, go on a rant on later. But David Martinez, like hitting the shots when he's in space 30, 40 yards from goal and causing a little chaos, right? Like we saw Guzan spill one and then, it was cleared away. But those opportunities, like, things happen. It's mucking it up. Like,
yeah,
you need to take those shots to keep the defense honest, because otherwise people can sit in a low block against you and you will just go insane trying the same thing over and over again to unlock them. So I did like that from David Martinez. As someone mentioned, really unlucky not to score off the corner, the header off the post, which we mentioned. But
A few balls came off the post. I think there was 3 total balls that came off the post. That's just an unlucky bounce.
Yeah.
So it's not just Guzan playing with his head on fire. It's also being really unfortunate with the post ball.
Totally agree. But another defender who did score, and how ironic that Jose is not here tonight
For
to
real.
just enjoy the golazo that Jordi Alba scored tonight, because that was a true golazo. I mean, put that ball on a rope to the right side of the goal that even Guzan tonight could not get to.
Was
and
that a
that
cracker,
was
David?
such a good freaking goal.
It wasn't even a cracker. It was a laser. It was a laser beam. That thing went straight into the net. It was beautiful. I mean, and I was thinking it the whole time, like, man, anything inside the box is just not working out for us. We needed especially when you see Martinez let it rip a couple times, you're like, this is gonna have to be the way that we get another goal here. And Alba, man, let me tell you, he's had some really nice goals in some Inter Miami jerseys. So it's really nice to see him come up and get that goal, because yeah, I mean, I think he's far and away the best left back in the MLS, and you just love to see it at this age, still being able to perform.
He's had such a good season, and pretty quietly, but he's had such a great season, and he allows his team to do a lot of what they do. I mean, I forgot who was mentioned it in the comments. Now I'm sorry to not give you credit. I don't remember who it was, but saying that Gomez and Alba play so well together. What have we spoken about? Robert Taylor and Alba, they seem like they don't have that connection. We don't really know what it is there. Same thing with Rojas. Rojas doesn't seem to do too well on the left wing kind of position. But man, Alba and Gomez play so well off of each other. They pass it to each other often. They make these nice plays, and yeah, it's really nice to see. Really nice to see. Alba is definitely one of the engines of this team. We have multiple engines. We don't just have one. Definitely one of the engines in this team. Thank God, man. He had a hell of a night tonight.
And it's one of those things that we talk about is just like Inter Miami, they're a very deep squad. They're as a collective unit, they're very good. But the levels of talent that we have outside of just Messi, who already is just the best player on the planet, it's too much for lesser opponents. Like it's too much. Like, okay, Messi didn't score, Jordi Alba scored. Jordi Alba doesn't score until later in the match. Luis Suarez has scored, like from an assist from Gomez and secondary assist from Alba. But like, there's just the layers of talent, of world-class talent still at their age, is just, it's too much for a lot of teams in the MLS. Like, that is something that gives us an inherent advantage in any match that we go into, because it's just like things can be going wrong or not perfectly. Guzan can be playing with what little hair he has on his body on fire, and yeah, leave that to your imagination. But but we have the talent to overcome it one way or another. Like, it doesn't have to just be Messi, which I think is such an important part. Messi, by the way, had an assist on Jordi Alba's goal, but it doesn't have to just be Messi putting the team on his back and being like, well, we're going to score right now, which he has the ability to do. But even if he gets locked down to a certain extent, we have so many other good players that can do things to unlock defenses to make this team successful. And that is what makes Inter Miami uniquely difficult to a level that no other team can really match.
Yeah. Did we see a bad game for Messi, or was it just more of an unlucky
not at all.
bad bounce?
I don't think we saw a bad game from him at all. I just think the goal tally will not reflect a super productive outing from like a number standpoint, but he was, I mean, like, you could feel the form that he's in from the first whistle. Like, you can see the way he was super involved. A lot of touches in the first half, which is always great. Sometimes there's matches where he doesn't get as many touches in the first 15, 20 minutes. But tonight, from the very start, he was getting a lot of touches. He had some really early shots that were dangerous, like on target, in good positions. And Guzan, again, was just playing really well, but he was on it. Like, I think he had a really effective match when you look at all things.
Yeah, also he was also involved in the defense, whether it was helping clear a ball that was just dangerously sitting in the box, or really going after it and really chasing after the ball. Sometimes he doesn't really go after balls that have been dispossessed, but this time that he was actively going off, and there was one that they called it out on Miami, and you could tell he was pissed off because he really fought for that ball and it looked like he had won the possession back. So yeah,
He was pressing a lot today too. I
yeah,
noticed. Yeah.
and late you could tell how badly he wanted that goal. And being up, you might think that he's just going to try to dish it out to whoever is available, but no, he really wanted to come away with a goal in this one, and that shows you how badly he not only does he want to win, but he wants to leave his footprint on these wins too. He wants this is legacy for Messi. Messi always cares about his legacy, and yeah, he's going all in on this, and that's something that as an Inter Miami fan and not just a Messi fan that you really love to see. You want to see him go all in, and that's it. There's no international matches to worry about here. It's just all the playoffs.
Yeah. Totally agree. Like, I think you could see the hunger, you could see the form he was in, just played against a very, very informed goalkeeper, and even still unlucky to hit the post on a shot, unlucky to miss just wide on the free kick attempt that he had. Um, I think this is a one-time thing that we're going to see with Guzan to this extent. He is a good goalkeeper, but if he was this good a goalkeeper all the time, the US might have a World Cup. Like, that's the level that he was playing tonight. It was just, you weren't getting past him with the easy things. Even Suarez and Messi on a breakaway, which not the fastest breakaway I've ever seen in my life, but Suarez plays Messi in as they're passing midfield just about, and Guzan gets to it first, and it's like, he's 40 years old.
He did it 3 times.
Yes.
And one time he beat Kremansky to the ball. So it's not even like it was Suarez he was beating to the ball. He beat Kremansky to the ball, who was coming with fresh legs.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Messi had a very good game. And I don't think Chris was saying that he had a bad game. I think he was just posing the question of to just discuss the game that Messi did have.
Yeah, I didn't mean he had a bad game. I was just posing the question: did we see one or did we not? It was not necessarily. I thought he did.
You bite your tongue.
I want to throw it out there.
I think he played very well. As you would expect. I mean, like, the stage is sort of set. This is another, like you said, Dave, another legacy moment for Messi. He can add another to his tally. And I mean, like, tonight, Apple obviously pushed this game very hard. We had the Messi cam on TikTok. We had the game was free for all viewers through Apple TV. You didn't have to be a subscriber of the MLS season pass. So I think, like, Messi always wants to perform, but I think he also knows what's going on, right? Like, he knows there's like additional eyes. He knows this is a playoff, right? Like, this is now its own sort of tournament where he has another opportunity to show his greatness. And not that he has to prove anything to anyone, but he can elevate his game to a different level, even on top of the greatness that he showed in the regular season. So I fully expect him to score next match, and I'll place just as many bets on him scoring next match as I did this one. And I don't expect Brad Guzan to be able to be as effective as he was tonight. The game in Atlanta is going to be obviously different. The atmosphere is going to be different. Atlanta now are on the brink of elimination, so those things factor in. But at the end of the day, this Inter Miami squad is way too talented for Atlanta to really hang with. So we should have won by more. Like, it's just sort of my takeaway from this match. What about you guys?
This was the match for Atlanta to win with the way Guzan played. This was the one. Like you said, Julio, I don't think he's gonna have that same kind of match again. And this was the one, and they let it slip away because they had it. They had us to the end there. So they let it slip away. David, you're on mute.
They had so few opportunities. That's the thing. It's like we had the ball the entire time. We were attacking them the entire time. You look at the numbers from top to bottom. We just completely dominated them, and it's hard for them to have let it slip away when they had so few chances. it was just a matter of them being really fortunate to getting that one shot through, and that helped them. I think their best chance of winning this one is if they hadn't allowed that Alba goal, and you force the penalties and see what happens. But winning this on the pitch, there was no way that I think that they could have done it with the way that Inter Miami was playing. Like, it's not like we had a bad game. We'll see. We'll see what happens in Atlanta, because we know the whole story with the turf and all this stuff. So it'll be interesting to see who starts and how many minutes, if there's minute watching and things like that, and how scared they're going to be, especially after seeing what happened to Ian Frey. Maybe that sits in the back of their minds when they're starting these guys on the pitch on the turf over there in Atlanta. I don't know. There's probably a lot of conversations being had in the building right now.
I don't know if you have the luxury to do that, man.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
you know, conversations are going to be had. And I saw somebody wrote,
Yeah.
I think it was Syed wrote, if Ustari is fit, should Tata start him in an away match? I don't think that there's any way Ustari gets a start. Look, I would consider it, but I'm not the manager of Inter Miami, and you've ridden
Thank God.
with Drake this whole time. There's no way that you're gonna shift at this
Yeah.
point, because
And
if you
what
do
is
that, that's destabilizing for the entire
Yeah.
club.
Yeah, and what does that do to Drake, right? Like moving forward, what does that do
No,
to him?
that's it. You ruin him. You ruin him with his club.
Yeah, because Ustari is not a long-term solution, and I'm not necessarily saying that Drake is either, but yeah, it would totally just shoot his confidence. And we know the heights he can reach. He's just not there right now. And again, like, we're in a fortunate enough position where we won tonight's match, which is wonderful, and we can outscore a lot of teams, to be quite frank. So he's in a position where he can work through some of these things. But yeah, I don't think there's any way that Ustari gets a start really for any of these playoffs unless something egregious happens from Drake. I also fully expect pretty much the same starting 11 to start in Atlanta. I really don't think. I mean, we've seen now these players play in Atlanta. If I'm not mistaken, Messi played the 25 minutes that was at Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think they play. I don't think there's any.
They have to.
Yeah,
It's
I definitely
it's a clinching
agree.
match.
Yeah, I definitely agree that, like, there's some conversation about it, but at the end of the day, I think everyone that started tonight starts again. I think this is sort of what Tata wants to roll out, because pretty much everyone was available. I think only David Ruiz and
Ustari.
Ustadi were the
Ustari,
only
yeah. It was just
scratches, right?
two. Mhm.
So I think this is like the preferred starting 11 from Tata, which I think is a very effective starting 11, mind you, because not only is it a very strong 11, but also you do have some playmakers off the bench that you can sub on. Now, the loss of Ian Frey hurts in the defensive position, obviously, but I still feel very good about this starting 11 and who we have on the bench.
Yeah, now that you don't
And
have Frey, it's your best 11. That's honestly your best 11 for position by position, up and down. And yeah, if we do get, I don't know what the long-term prognosis is on David Ruiz, but if we get David Ruiz back, I mean, that's just a bunch of young, hungry guys that can come off the bench, and that's been the great recipe for this team, is when you do make those late subs, having them have a ton of energy to really go out there and leave it all on the pitch. And that's why, like, I was gonna say, oh, well, maybe Campana will get the start over Suarez, but Suarez has been so effective, it's hard to find a way to not have him on the pitch. So I feel like Suarez will be out there, and Campana maybe at some point can be up on there with Suarez for at least for a little while, and then you can call Suarez off. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any way that, I mean, watch, we're gonna get a no Allen start, but what, I don't think there's any way that you can go very far from this starting squad.
yeah, I just don't see it. And the other thing about the starting 11, they on paper they came out with a 4-3-3, but if you watch the match, they were not in that formation probably like 80-90% of the match. They were playing with three at the back. Boosie was playing that pseudo center back kind of player kind of role. So on paper, yeah, 4-3-3, but they were playing what we've seen very effective recently, with three at the back, and Alba and Cello just really pushing it a lot. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep kind of rolling with that similar style. I want to get to ratings that Saya just put up. But before I do that, I want to do it. Did you know Inter Miami did not have a yellow card all match today?
I
When was
thought it
the
when
last
Toto
time?
came up. When Toto came up, I was like, "Oh, Toto didn't have a card today."
Yep.
I don't think anyone's gotten a card.
No
I
one had a card.
do you know when the last
Incredible.
time that happened? Because I have years.
We get like 5 a game, so I don't
That's
know.
not true. Isn't that like last match? Did we not have a card, or the match before that?
Oh yeah, we did comment. It was last match.
Never
We're on a
happens.
streak of no cards.
Yeah, I think it's been three matches in a row without cards.
Wait a minute.
That'll be interesting.
I
to see.
I do now recall that last match we didn't have a yellow card. Yeah, we didn't have one last match. And
I wasn't here last match, so
against Toronto, we also didn't have a match.
Yeah, it's 3 in a row.
Yellow card.
I think it's 3 in a row. Yeah.
And then against Columbus, we must
Interesting.
have had against
We did.
Columbus.
Yeah. 'cause we-
1, 2, 3, 4 against Columbus, including one to Tata.
maybe Tata gave a little pow pow and he
He said no
dropped
mas.
these yellow cards.
No
man.
mas.
No mas. All right, so let's get to ratings. In honor of Jose, it's not here today. Well, let's start off with Syed's question. What rating would you guys give Inter Miami overall today out of 10?
7.7. It would be
Okay.
higher if we had hit a bunch of those goals and if we hadn't allowed that stupid goal. But
Yeah.
7.7 is a good goal. They had a lot of chances, a lot of good scoring opportunities, so that'll boost your rating. And then you got 2 assists, 2 goals, and only 1 goal allowed. So I'm gonna say it's a 7.7 for the team. And I saw somebody wrote 10 for Guzan. I can't give him a 10. He allowed 2 goals.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 8. I think again, just the domination of this match. Just some quick stats. Expected goals 3.12, 22 total shots, 12 corner kicks, 704 passes.
Jeez.
That is a outrageous number
Insane.
of passes.
And very good passing percentage, I bet, too.
Well, now I feel
65%.
now I feel obligated to look up the percentage. I don't know. I'll figure
Very
it out
good,
later.
and very good is very subjective. So
Yeah, but still, just like a crazy number of passes. I think we dominated this match. Again, like this comment that we have posted up, Guzan just played out of his mind, and otherwise, Inter Miami score more and the ratings all the higher. But we still played a very good match. I like the way we came out on the front foot, and really, Sabo's goal came completely against the run of play, and other than like a 10-minute stretch maybe in the second half, we dominated the other 80 minutes or so.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7.5, but then David went super into the decimal points in there. But yeah, 7.5. I think it was very good. I think they had a very good game. They got unlucky a lot of times. The blocks, the post, hitting the post. So 7.5. Defense played well. Attack was good. Solid match. So let's get to player matches. Who would you guys say is the man of the match for Inter Miami? Let's stop talking about Guzan. I'm tired of that guy. For Inter Miami, man of the match.
I think probably
Oh, Jesus Christ. Henry, come on.
probably Alba, Messi,
I would say man of the match.
Suarez.
Alba.
I liked Alba's game tonight a
Alba
lot.
had the game. He had the game clinching goal.
Yeah, so Julio, you're actually right. You said Alba Messi. It was Alba Messi. 8.3. Sorry, both of them. 8.3. Suarez was at 7.7, so he had a good match too. My God, here we go with the Messi talk. Guys, I love Messi. He's the best. I understand. I never question his game.
You don't sound very sincere. That's all I have to say.
Whatever. Okay, so least of the match. Who was it?
Least
Cello.
I say Toto because he didn't even have the complete game.
Cello was definitely least of the match. 6.7, followed very closely by Drake and Redondo, with both of them 6.8. So yeah, Cello. This could lead us straight into the Cello talk that we definitely need to have.
There's no conversation to be
Agonizingly
had.
frustrating.
So
to
bad.
watch.
So
He
bad.
has to stay. He has to stay on.
Yeah, now we're screwed. We have no other left back or right back right now that we could play.
His like ball skills as soon as he crosses midfield, go from pretty good to just the worst thing you've ever seen in your life.
And also, it's like his actual ball skills and his perceived ball skills. There's a
Oh
huge
my god,
disparity.
he thinks he's
He
Trent
thinks he's Messi.
Alexander-Arnold. Yes, he thinks he's Messi. You're right. He thinks he's even better than
I feel like he's
Alexander-Arnold.
shielding the ball. And he looks at Messi and he winks at him. He's like, "Watch this," and and he kicks a sky ball straight at 3 defenders. It's like, what are you doing, man? What could possibly have you thought was a good idea there? And then
Goodness, man.
and then when he doesn't get the ball, he gets super frustrated. Like man, it just he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit the team. Like if he was just designated to just play defense, great. And even then, sometimes he feels like when he has the ball in the defensive half, he feels like he can do more than he should, and then that spells trouble. It's just he makes mistakes. So it's like Toto makes really boneheaded mistakes that like gets him in card trouble or conceding penalties and stuff like that. And Cello doesn't do that. Cello just makes mistakes that'll either turn the ball over or just ending possessions, and it's in the most like mind-boggling ways. It's they find different ways to screw with the fans. So kudos to that. And they're both on the same side too, which is just perfect. The interplay. People are still mad at Chris.
Yes. Cello's like a bad right winger stuck in a right back position, and
like when Taylor was
yes,
right back.
but the thing with Cello, like you said, like Toto is he makes really bad plays where he gets in foul trouble. Cello makes really bad plays where he just abandons his post. Like he'll try to do a 1-2 with whoever's on the right side with him, and he'll just bomb down the wing in at the worst possible time. And then we usually turn the ball over in some capacity, and then he's just like 40 yards down the pitch and no one covering in his position. And it is just so frustrating because then if the ball does get back to him, then he'll play a cross that's about 40 yards into the sky, or he'll take a shot that's 40 rows deep into the stands, or he'll just do something inexplicably awful to watch. It is so painful. And it's just like a modicum of composure, and we would honestly develop so many good things from his position, because at times he picks up good positions, at times, not often, but at times. But it's just like you see who's getting the ball and you're like, it's Cello. Like this play's cooked. And you just wish like almost anyone else is getting the ball, because he somehow ends up in the best possible position for the worst possible player. It is really obnoxious. He had a good shot today, right? No, didn't he? Not have
He had a
one?
good opportunity to shoot.
The one that Guzan saved. Messi hit the post. Messi hit the post, and then it bounced back to Cello, did it not? And Guzan had a good save on a half volley. 100%.
Must have missed that one.
100%. He had one good shot, but I do not like his play.
I'm just thinking of the shot that the ball found him perfectly, and it was perfect for him to take a good shot.
There it is.
He did take a good shot, and Guzan made a really good save.
No, but there was one that he had a great opportunity.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And he sent it to the moon.
Shocker.
To the moon.
That's the point, right? Like, he gets in good positions. It's just 99 out of 100 times, it's that. It's a shot to the moon. Like, he looks
like the Office, where he looks straight into the camera, and he's just like...
He sees Fort Lauderdale Municipal Airport, and he tries to knock down an airplane that's taking off.
And he's always surprised by it. He's like, oh, I don't know what happened.
Messi, you got in my way, bro.
Let me cook, man.
The wind,
man. It's so frustrating. I'm not surprised he was the least of the match.
There's a lot of talk in the comments right now about Gressel. I mean, now that phrase out, maybe it's something. And the way that the backs played tonight, the fullbacks played tonight, maybe Gressel's an option as a sub. You know, not as a starter. Maybe as a starter. Who knows? Tata loves Gressel, but it's an option as a sub if you want to sub out Cello for somebody. He could play that position, and we know it. So it'll be interesting to see.
I don't know. I feel like Gressel is a drop off as a defender.
Yeah.
And yes, he's an obvious upgrade offensively, but at this stage, Gressel had, like, at least with us, he hasn't really provided. I know he went on that really good stretch of assists
Mhm.
early on, but consistently in the second half of the season, he wasn't really providing any juice on offense. So I don't know if that's. I mean, it is an option. Like we're not like that was one of the
I'm not
things
saying to
we
start him.
that's one of the things
Yeah.
we lauded the signing. We're like, oh, the good, an experienced player who can have position versatility, and we never really used him in any versatile manner other than either midfielder or occasionally when Messi was out in the right wing spot. But yeah, it's an option at right back. But again, like I said, it has to be like I think it's an instance that Cello picks up a knock or gets in card trouble, and that's the only real way I'll see him starting at or playing any significant time at right back.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
besides him, who do we have that could
No,
do
we
that?
don't have
There's
anybody. I
no one.
mean, you
No,
play Allen or Negri.
I think
Yeah.
Cello for sure is the starter and the player that will be there for 70 to 80 minutes a match. I think if anything, Gressel is a rotational piece at this point in any position, whether we're talking about Redondo spot, Messi if he needs to come out to rest, or Cello himself. But I don't think he. I think that entire run where he had the assist was when Messi was out, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like to start the season.
I don't think he has played particularly well with Messi. I might be wrong, but I think it was like when Messi left to Copa, and it was that stretch where he really started to heat up, and he started hooking up with who do you? I don't know. I feel
Whoever.
like I don't recall him playing. Well, people were scoring,
No, I know.
but
I
it
think
wasn't Suarez and it wasn't Messi.
he was good for like one assist a match in Europe, and it was
Yeah,
always like matches like
he had
man.
a streak.
He's like, man, Gressel
Mhm.
hasn't
Oh,
really
you're
done
right. It
anything.
was to start the season.
It was the beginning of the season. 'Cause remember,
Yeah,
he started all those games in a row,
yeah,
and it's like, man, why are we still starting Gressel? And then he'd justify it with an assist. It's
right.
like every match he wasn't playing great, but he would have an
Yeah, he
assist.
had like 8
But
assists in 8 matches or something.
but when Messi and Suarez were out, he also had a very nice run as well. He was hot during that time that they were both out. He found the way to play well with Campana, Rojas, all that little starting lineup. So yeah, hot and cold this season
No,
for the
he
most
he
part.
he had a good eye, and he was opportunistic in his passes. That's the one thing that we saw from Gressel is he had a nice crossing ability, and a lot of times those crosses led to opportunities. So,
Mhm.
um, I mean, look at how many times Cello fails across. So that's something that can be upgraded with Gressel at that spot.
Yeah, I think sort of what we said when we signed Gressel is he's a stopgap in a lot of positions, but he compared to the other pieces we have is adequate at what he would be replacing, right? Because if he's replacing Cello, he will be an adequate defender, but probably not as good. If he's replacing Messi, there's obvious drop off there. And if he's replacing any of our starting midfielders, even there's a drop off on the level that these guys are playing at. What did you guys think of Redondo's game tonight?
Oh, you just took my thought away. What's wrong with him? I feel like he's missing something. He's not playing as aggressive as he was when he first got here. I don't see that. I don't see that spark from him right now. And we haven't. I don't think we've seen it the last few matches either. He's been kind of off. I don't. I can't really pinpoint it, but he's been kind of off. He's playing a little sloppy.
I feel like since he started off really well for us, and then he picked up that knock, and then he came back and then got injured again. Ever since then, there was always like rumblings that he was unhappy or whatever. I don't know if any of that's true, but ever since that point, he hasn't really been good for us. He's been decent, but he hasn't had that same quality uh, that he had in the beginning of the season. So that's the one thing I've noticed. So I don't know if there's something in the back of his mind, if he's playing through something. I don't know what it is, but he definitely doesn't look like the same rated player than when we first brought him. So time will tell, and who knows? There was that rumor that he was unhappy here, so we'll see.
Yeah, it almost feels like he's tentative. Like I was just looking at his stats. He completed 62 of 65 passes for 95%. He had, 2 of 6 ground duels won, which is not great. Lost possession 5 times, had 2 fouls. 2 for 2 on long balls, tackled once. He doesn't provide that spark that he was providing earlier in the season, and yeah, hopefully he works his way through it. But yeah, it does feel like Chris was saying, like it's you can't quite put your finger on it, but
Yeah.
something is off with Fede.
Maybe
And
it's the
I don't.
emergence of Bright. Maybe
maybe.
that's throwing him off, and we're utilizing him differently than we were initially. I can't put my finger on it either.
Yeah, he's not. I don't know, when we first started here, he was really blocking out defenders. He was playing physical. He's a big dude. He was playing very physical. Right now, like, so I think you just put it up. He's playing a little timid or something. I don't know if he's scared of getting yellow cards. He was getting a bunch of them at some point there. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but he's not that physical specimen that we were seeing for a good piece of the season. Hopefully that changes because kid was a stud, man.
Yeah. So another question from the chat: if Frey's out for the season due to injury, does that open up any opportunity to replace, or is that door shut? That door is shut. To answer it simply, yeah, there's no maneuvering right now. There's no like official transfer window. I think if anything, it would have to be like a free agent that would fit within the confines of whatever budgetary spending the MLS allows teams to do. But there's no one that you would be like, okay, cool, like that person is better than anyone that's been on this team for the last 8 months. So I don't think there's anything you could really do right now.
There's got to be somebody better than Sailor.
Maybe. So yeah, so the Frey injury sucks, and that's sort of why it's not like a super party right now. Also, it's it being a best 2 out of 3 also makes us feel like not as like celebratory yet. The
But
job's not finished.
But that being said, I mean that also helps. Like if this was an aggregate system, only winning 2-1,
Totally agree.
it would be devastating. It would be much
Yeah.
more of a negative than winning 2-1 in a best of 3. So that's the positive spin on it. That we mentioned at the top of the show that style points don't matter here.
Yeah.
So we take wins where we can get them, and just hope for not going up against a steel curtain of a goaltender in the next match.
Thank God we didn't go into pens this match
Oof.
because the way that
we
Gusan was
would have been
playing,
cooked.
he would have blocked all 5 of them or whatever. So thank God.
Yeah, Syed bringing really good questions tonight. So, what can lead us to potentially lose the next match? I think it'll be we can beat ourselves right now. I think the way we played tonight is very indicative of a team that's superior to the opponent. We allowed a couple of chances for Atlanta. They scored on one clear-cut one. They had a second that that Toto very lightly glanced his arm and he fell. But my point is, like, the attacker probably should have done better and at least threatened Drake. But I think Inter Miami, again, they had 22 shots. I don't know how many of those were on goal, but Guzan had 9 saves, so probably 11 were on target. I think we completely dominated them from top to bottom. The only thing that can stop us is ourselves. If we just are too loose, if we play too loose with the ball, I think potentially maybe the speed of the turf could be a problem for us to adjust to, whereas Atlanta may be more used to it. But outside of that, I don't think Atlanta has like I don't think they have the advantage on us in any facet of this game.
No, the style of play, you can tell we didn't respect their goal scoring ability. When you have, I mean, you guys mentioned David Martinez, but honestly, both Toto and Martinez were both playing very, very high, and that opens you up to getting countered. And we didn't really get countered too much in this match, so that's something that they can get away with against Atlanta that they probably won't get away with most teams in this tournament. But as long as we can do a better job on Guzan in this next match, then there should not be an issue. Now, that being said, Atlanta had a couple injuries on the defensive side in this match, which should have made it easier for us to score, uh, and it didn't. So let's see what the like prognosis is on those two players, because if they're out as well, it might be even easier for us going into the next match if they don't have proper replacements, if those guys manage to get hurt too. So yeah, I don't. You really don't foresee us coming away with a loss in the next match. And if we do, then it's time to really be down on this team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that if David Martinez's play lessens or lowers maybe to what we saw last match, I don't think he had a great match. I think that's where we might get in trouble, especially in close ones like today. That I think that's what we'll see the issue. Last match it didn't matter so much because it was against New England, and they're not great, so we whooped them. But in a close match like this, you need your defense to be on point. And tonight, David Martinez was on point. So I think if he lowers his play a little bit or regresses a little bit, that's where we might run into trouble because we've seen what his mate on the other side could potentially do when he's defending.
By the way, this is the 4th straight match for Atlanta United where they possess the ball in the 30 percentile. Wow. So they have developed this style of play where they let the other team play with the ball, and it's a losing recipe when you're playing Inter Miami to allow us to have the ball that much with the way we're playing.
Their recipe is to allow 23 shots on goal.
Yeah, and have Guzan just, again, transcend.
Oh, it's insane. It was so frustrating. It was. I know we've said it a million times, but my God, I don't think I've ever been this frustrated watching us have this many opportunities.
It plays into Messi. Sort of the mood. Like it plays into the mood where this could have been like a full fiesta. Like it could have been just madness because we really had so many good opportunities, and albeit other than a crazy goalkeeping performance, like we would have won by many goals tonight. But hey, sometimes that happens, and we're good enough where we still were able to be successful and come out with the victory tonight. So all things considered, a success tonight. Obviously super bummed about Ian Frey again. And we hope somehow miraculously the news isn't as bad as we presume. But again, we're not medical professionals in that capacity. So impossible to really say that. But yeah, Inter Miami win. And we win one more match against Atlanta, and we move on to the next round to face the winner of Orlando and NYCFC, I think.
Oh, man. If it's Orlando, imagine that.
It'll be beautiful. We're their daddies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Henry, I'll watch out for him.
Orlando and Charlotte. I apologize. Orlando and Charlotte. It was blue and black logo and white. That's why I got it. I would rather play at Orlando. Not to jump ahead, but I would much rather play Orlando. Rivalry. I think that would be super fun for all parties involved. And we beat them all the time. So
yeah, Orlando's definitely the better team out of Orlando and Charlotte. But man, we got their number this season.
So after this round, it's just best of one, right?
Correct. It's full knockout, single elimination.
Fun times.
That's when it gets fun.
Which now it is for Atlanta as well.
True.
So what next match is
Saturday.
Tomorrow. No, next Saturday.
He disrespected me up, Cody. He disrespected me.
8 days from today, Saturday, will be the match at 7 p.m. Why do they do that? We'll have a preview episode out on Wednesday, probably, maybe. We have been a little fluid with our schedule lately, so make sure you're following us at the Heron Heads. Join our Discord if you'd like to join in the conversation further. And if you guys are still tuned in on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're on X, thank you for hanging out. Hit the like button, repost, follow us if you're not already. And go Inter Miami. And we will catch you on the next one. Hope everyone has a great weekend. And bye.
Thank you.